Welcome to T10 Info TV SK channel. My name is Syed. Here I am with the latest news for 24th August 2023. Saudi Minister introduced new measure easing Umrah travel for Bangladesh. Saudi Hajj and Umrah Minister Tawfiq Al-Rabia held meeting with officials in Dhaka on Wednesday to introduce new measure facilitating the arrival of Bangladesh pilgrims for Umrah. The Saudi Minister arrived in Bangladesh on Tuesday night on two-day trip that is part of efforts to highlight the kingdom's progress in transforming the pilgrimage system. He reached Bangladesh from Pakistan, where the Saudi Tourism Authority launched Nusuk, the e-visa planning and booking platform that allow travelers to create pilgrimage itineraries for Makkah, Medina and beyond and organize their visit to Saudi Arabia. Green Riyadh to plant 46,000 trees in Al Ghadir neighborhood as sixth phase begins. The sixth phase of Green Riyadh will take place on Thursday. The program will plant 46,000 trees and shrubs in Al Ghadir neighborhood. This will include conducting 7 parks, afforestation of 4 schools as well as 28 km of street and corridor and a health facility in addition to 4 vacant lands. This is an addition to an exhibition to introduce residents to all aspects of the project and its future vision, its stages and duration as well as the accompanying works. India fully supports BRICS expansion as summit continues. India fully supports the expansion of the BRICS group. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said, as the leader of the 5 major emerging economies met for the second day of the BRICS summit, we welcome moving forward with consensus on this, Modi said in his opening remark at the meeting in Johannesburg on Wednesday. The comments were the clearest indication that India would back plans to expand the grouping beyond the 5 crore members. Russia and China are championing expansion with South Africa also in support, as President Cyril Ramaphosa confirmed on Sunday. Compensation up to 6,568 Saudi Riyal for baggage loss and maximum 200% of ticket value for flight cancellation. The General Authority of Civil Aviation announced the adoption of the new executive regulation to protect the rights of passengers, replacing the existing one, which will come into force on November 20, 2023. The regulation included 30 articles that guarantee the passenger's right to receive proper care, support and compensation amounting up to 150 to 200% of the ticket value. The compensation will be given in the event of departure of flight ahead of schedule or delay in departure or cancellation of flights, as well as in the event of refusal to board the plane due to overbooking. Some of these compensation amount to 150% and 200% of the ticket value. It was stipulated in the new regulation. Chandrayaan-3 lands on moon in historic moment for India. An Indian spacecraft landed on the moon on Wednesday, the space agency said, in a mission seen as crucial to lunar exploration and India standing as a space power just after a similar Russian lander crash. For India, the successful landing marks its emergency as a space power as the government looks to spur investment in private space launches and related satellite-based business. People across the country were glued to television screens and said prayers as the spacecraft approached the surface. The Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft landed on the lunar south pole, the Indian Space Research Organization said. This was India's second attempt to land a spacecraft on the moon and come less than a week after Russia's Luna 25 mission failed. Rescuers evacuated over 100,000 people from flood-hit areas of Pakistan Punjab province in 3 weeks. Rescuers have evacuated more than 100,000 people from flood-hit area of Pakistan Eastern Punjab province in the past 3 weeks, officials said Wednesday. The rescue operations were expanded last week when the Sultaj River started overflowing, inundating several districts. Most of the evacuation were reported in the district of Bahawalpur and Kasur in Punjab province. Small-scale evacuation began in July after neighboring India diverted water from dams into the Ravi River, which flows from India into Pakistan. 22 killed in Indian railway bridge collapse. At least 22 laborers were killed on Wednesday when the railway bridge they were building across a river in India's remote northeast collapsed, with 4 others feared dead. The incident took place in Sairong, a town around 20 km northwest of Mizoram state capital Aizawl, an outlying pocket of the country near the border with Myanmar. Private plane crashes in Russia with Wagner chief Prigozhin on board. A private plane has crashed in Moscow region, killing all 10 people on board. Russian news agency TASS report that Wagner mercenary group chief Prigozhin was among those on board. Russia's civil aviation regulator Rossavizia also said Prigozhin was on the passenger list. However, it was not immediately clear if it had boarded the flight. According to TASS reporter on Wednesday, the Embraer aircraft en route from Moscow to St. Petersburg was carrying 7 passengers and 3 crew. Israel approved increasing in gas export to Egypt. Israel will expand its natural gas export to Egypt from its offshore Tamar field, according to Energy Minister Israel Katz, amid renewed interest in offshore exploration and a debate on whether the gas should be kept for domestic use. This step will increase the state revenue and strengthen diplomatic ties between Israel and Egypt, Katz said on Wednesday in a post on X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, though he did not provide further details. Cyprus detained 5 Syrians suspected of human trafficking. Police in Cyprus on Wednesday arrested 5 Syrian nationals suspected of being part of a crime gang involved in human trafficking, the government said. The island at a crossroad of 3 continents has been struggling with a surge in irregular migration in recent years, and arrival by sea has risen in past several days. An early morning police raid in the southern district of Limassol found 5 Syrian and more arrests were expected. Cyprus presidency said in a statement authorities had been collecting intelligence on the suspect over several months. Close on the heels of BRICS, Modi likely to attend East Asia Summit Asian meetings in Jakarta in September. Close on the heels of the BRICS Summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping could come face to face again in Indonesia if both leaders decide to attend the East Asian Summit and other meeting with Asian bloc of countries in September. According to sources, Mr. Modi is now considering plans to fly to Jakarta for a very short visit on September 6 and return to India on September 7, just prior to the G20 summit which begins on September 9. Earlier officials had said the Prime Minister's schedule before the G20 summit was making it difficult for him to attend the meeting in Jakarta, as Mr. Modi needs to return to Delhi in time for the leaders for the G20 summit. After the possibility of a rescheduling of the EAS and Asian India Summit, however, so that both are completed by the afternoon of September 7, it is understood that the Prime Minister office is likely to accept the invitation. Russian President Putin congratulated PM Modi and President Murmu on Chandrayaan-3 success. Russian President Vladimir Putin was among the first world figure to congratulate India after Chandrayaan-3 made soft landing on the moon surface. In a message to President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Russian leader described the success of the mission as a proof of progress that the Indian space program has made over the decades. Apart from Mr. Putin, several others including the Foreign Minister of Nepal, Ambassador of Turkey and noted astronauts and officials of NASA also congratulated India on the success. PM Modi and South African President Ramaphosa discussed regional and multilateral issues of mutual interest. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday held a bilateral meeting with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, during which they reviewed progress made in bilateral ties, exchanged views on regional and multilateral issues and also on ways to work jointly to strengthen the voice of the global South. PM Modi met President Ramaphosa in Johannesburg on the sideline of the 15th BRICS summit. Germany is moving forward with a plan to ease its citizenship rules as it seeks to attract workers. Germany plans to ease citizenship rules under legislation approved Wednesday by the cabinet, a project that the government contends will bolster the integration of immigrants and help an economy that is struggling with a shortage of skilled workers. The legislation passed by Chancellor Olaf Scholz and his ministers still requires approval from the lower house of parliament, where the socially liberal three-party coalition has comfortable majority. It could take effect in January depending on how quickly that happens. Thailand jail ex-PM Thaksin hospitalized after return from exile. Thailand jail former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra was moved to police hospital overnight after suffering a health problem on first day of detention following his return from years of exile, police said on Wednesday. The status of the health of 74-year-old Mr. Thaksin was not immediately clear. Human rights violation in Kashmir must be stopped. Pakistan Permanent Mission to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation held a ceremony and a photo exhibition at the OIC Secretariat in Jeddah on Wednesday, August 23, to highlight the grave human rights violation in Kashmir. OIC Assistant Secretary General for Palestine and Jerusalem Affairs Samir Bakr Zayeb read the statement of Secretariat General Hussein Ibrahim Taha. OIC Secretary General could not attend due to ill health. The message was to highlight the grave of human rights violation in India-controlled Jammu and Kashmir and strengthen the OIC solidarity with Kashmir people. A large number of OIC member countries, delegates, diplomats, OIC officials and media were present at the event. Announcement of election date. President Alvi called the Chief Election Commissioner of Pakistan. The President has written a letter to the Chief Election Commissioner to give the date of general election on Wednesday. President Dr. Arif Alvi has written a letter to the Chief Election Commissioner Sikandar Sultan Raja inviting him to a meeting in which consultation will be held to announce the date of the general election in the country. According to the press note issued by the press wing of the President House, President Dr. Arif Alvi has invited Chief Election Commissioner Sikandar Sultan Raja for a meeting today or tomorrow. The President has written a letter to the Chief Election Commissioner to give the date of general election on Wednesday. Toshakhana case. There are errors in the judgment of the trial court in Badi Nazar Chief Justice. During the hearing of the appeals filed against the decision of the Islamabad High Court in the Toshakhana case of former Prime Minister Imran Khan in the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice has said in his remark that in hindsight there are mistakes in the decision of the trial court. On Wednesday, a hearing was held in the Supreme Court on the petition filed by Chairman Tehreek-e-Insaf against the Islamabad High Court order to hand over the Toshakhana case to Additional Section Judge Humayun Dilawar. A three-member bench headed by Chief Justice Umar Atiyah Bandel, Justice Mazhar Ali Akbar Naqvi and Justice Jamal Khan Mundaqal heard the case. During the hearing, the Chief Justice remarked that the Chairman Tehreek-e-Insaf was not heard after calling the case 3 times. The trial court sentenced the accused and sent him to jail. Pakistan Caretaker Foreign Minister meeting with UAE Ambassador, discussion on trade and investment. Pakistan Caretaker Foreign Minister Jalil Abbas Jilani met UAE Ambassador to Pakistan Ahmad Ubaidi Al-Zabi, in which trade and investment were discussed. In a statement issued by the Foreign Office of Pakistan on Wednesday, it was said that Pakistan has strong diplomatic and economic relations with the Emirates. According to the statement, in July, the UAE helped Pakistan avoid bankruptcy by depositing $1 million in the state bank. That's all in today's headlines. Keep watching T10 Info TV SK channel by subscribing and do hit the bell icon to receive notification and more updates.